Okay, hi everybody. I just want to show you, I am getting ready to card some of Ollie's fiber. This is Ollie's wool right here. You can tell where it's been clipped right off of him. I took 5 grams of his wool and I am mixing it with 5 grams of CVM. I'm gonna do it with this CVM because Ollie's wool is like a grayish white and I want to blend it on my electric drum carder, so I want you to be able to see how well it blends and how many times I got to put it through the carder to do that. And then I will also show you just spinning his fiber straight after I just make roll eggs out of it. So let me get this ready to go into the carder and I'll show you how to card it. So right here I've made kind of like a fiber sandwich. Let me see if I can get this more in. There we go. I took the CVM and I put it on the bottom, and then I took the finer fiber of Ollie's wool and put it in the middle, and then finished it off with a little bit more CVM. And so I'm going to let that run through the drum carder, and I apologize for the bad filming here, but I'm doing this one-handed. So let's see how this works out. So I kind of take my hand and I hold it back so it doesn't grab it and take it all at one time. Here is Ollie's fiber that's mixed with the 50% wool, and it's went through my drum carder 3 times. Usually, oh, I got a speck of something right there. Seems to catch everything. Usually when you have a really fine fiber, you don't want to run it through the drum carder too many times, because even though I have the finest teeth that there are on a drum carder, it can actually damage the fiber. So this is a fiber bat. You can either just spin from the end or rip off. Some people like to do strips and go back and forth. It doesn't matter. It's a woolen type blend anyway. It's not like it's comb top. It's not going to, the fibers are not aligned. It's going to make a fluffy yarn anyway. So I don't like to work with that much fiber at one time, especially when you're dealing with a fine, really warm fiber, because it gets kind of hot and then it's like sticky in your hands. So I'm using my Shack Matchless double treadle spinning wheel. I have my second to the smallest whirl on, but on the largest size. So, and I'm going to be using double drive. And I'm just, not everybody needs to know that. It's not that important, but I just figured for the people who are watching this that are real spinning experts, they might want to know what I'm doing. So this is my leader right here, and I'm getting ready to, because I don't have anything on this bobbin. So I'm going to put my fiber in here and kind of give it a little spin test. Right now, I'm not spinning for perfectness, even plies. I'm spinning to make sure I have the right spin ratio and the right pull that feels good to me. I like a really tight pull, even on fine fibers, and this seems pretty good to me. The only problem is I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this. Maybe I should spin it a little bit. Let me see if I can arrange the camera a little better. The sun's bad right here. Hold on. Okay. Now maybe without the window sun glare, you'll be able to see this a little bit better. So I'm just kind of waiting till I feel a nice amount of twist, and I'm inchworming it and pulling the fiber, and then letting it twist, the fiber twist, get into it, and letting it fill on to the bobbin. It's very methodic, easy. I really kind of like this CVM that was brown mixed with Ollie's gray hair, because Ollie's a chestnut agouti, which means sometimes when he molts, his fiber looks gray, and other times it looks a little brown, and most of the time it ends up coming out silverish gray. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit different fiber on here. And for the sake of not having a really extremely long video, I'm just going to spin some of this up, and then I'm just going to pull it out and ply it on itself really quickly so you can see what the yarn looks like. Of course, this isn't a huge spinning demo or anything to teach you to learn how to spin. It's just wanting you to see that Ollie's hair fiber, wool, whatever you want to call it, Angora fiber, can be made into some nice yarn and knit into some nice things. So I'm just going to pull this out. And if I wanted to make a 2-ply, I could let this go, but it's rather fine. So I'm going to try for 3-ply. So and I'm just going to let it spin back on itself the way it normally would with the twist that's in it. So of course the twist isn't set in here or anything, so it would blossom a lot more and look a lot more fuzzy like Angora yarn does once I were to soak this and then let it set. But if you can look, I'm going to make sure it focuses nice so you can see. Of course it's not perfect, but you know, I kind of don't like my hand spun to be perfect because it is hand spun. It's not spun by a machine. It's spun by me. Now the one thing that I noticed that I really like about adding the wool to Ollie's fiber is his fiber doesn't have a lot of stretch to it like wool does. But you can see with this 50%, watch this. It's got some bounce, which is really nice because if you've ever spun alpaca, Angora is a lot like alpaca, and it's not really my favorite 100% by itself, but you can see this has got a lot of nice give to it. So now I'm going to pause you, and then I'm going to get some of his fiber and I'm going to spin it from the cloud. I'm going to do the same thing, so I'm going to show you how I do that for the people who might not have hand cards or drum carder. Okay, of course, the more prep that you put into something, the nicer the outcome of the yarn is going to be. These are Strauss Fiber Equipment hand cards, but they are the small, I think they're called student size. I didn't want the large ones because these are super fine teeth, which means it's the finest for really fine fibers. I do a lot of cotton, and that's why I like these. Just so happens after I got them, I got a bunny, so it works out perfect. But you can hand card this, and the reason why I got the student carders was because the other ones are just too hard on my hands. That large weight doing this all the time, it ends up really killing my hands. So I just charged one card, and I'm transferring it off of one card and putting it on the other and trying to get the fibers a little more aligned. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have to do more than one pass back and forth because it looks like it's pretty well fine and ready to spin. So once you have it like this, of course you could spin it from here if you wanted to, or you can just take a stick and put this on your lap and wrap the fiber around it and make yourself kind of like a pony. But of course it's not that tight, so it's more called a rolag. I did this one quickly, so it's not that great. But Ollie's fiber, because he's an English Angora, it's weird because he still has some shine on his fiber, which reminds me of a satin Angora, but without all the guard hair. So it's really nice to spin. So this is the rolag. You can see I didn't make it perfect because I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just not. I feel like I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to be the best at everything. I know how to do it, and if there's days that I have patience and I want to make it perfect, I can, but I don't always like everything to be perfect. I just like to do it for fun because life's too short to make everything perfect. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to spin 100% Angora on here. You can tell with a little bit of more prep, you're going to get a nice even yarn out of this rolag. of course, I don't have any, if he had any mats, it wouldn't be in here. So that's why it's just coming out so nice. This is all the stuff that I cut off of the top of his back that was not matted, didn't have any clumps. Really nice fiber without any guard hairs. So it makes it really easy to spin. So I'm almost done with this one. I try to spin a little thicker, but I'm telling you, those people out there that say, oh, I wish I could spin so thin and even, don't. Keep spinning thick, because once you learn how to spin thin, it's really hard to go back. I have a little piece here that I wanted to be more even, so I stop and fix it. A lot of it evens out when you know, in the wash too, when you wash it. So I'm gonna take this off my wheel and make a 3-ply again, so you can see what 100% looks like. See if I can snap this. There we go. Oh. Now I'm gonna let it spin back on itself. And there's his fiber, 100% with the drum carder, and that's a 3-ply. And now if you notice, when I pull on this, you can hear it. There's no give because it's 100%. Whereas when you got that 50% wool in there, look, you got that stretch. See that stretch? But you don't have that here. It's pretty tight. So if you don't have hand cards, you can also just take a clump of the wool and spin it from the cloud. You might have a little bit more lumpy, bumpy areas, or it might take you a little longer to make it more even. But it's doable, and I've done it, and it works great. If you want to do that. Some people also are really meticulous when they cut their bunnies, and they take and they cut them, and they take all of the cut ends and they lay them out on tissue paper and align them perfectly, and pick up each little piece and spin it like that. And that's great if you let your Angora get that long. I don't let Ollie get that long because he's my pet first, and since he lives in the house, he'd be extremely uncomfortable with 4 or 5 inch long hair. So that's why Ollie's hair is a little shorter, but it's still, it's still usable. So now I am going to get his yarn and get some of the things that I've spun from him and show you. So hold on one second. Okay, here is what I have left. This was 7.6 ounces of 100% Ollie fiber, and now it was 510 yards of 100% hand spun Angora. And you can see once you wash it, how much it gives you that halo that Angora has. Just really, really fuzzy, but again, not that stretchy. Extremely warm and extremely yummy to knit with. And the end product is gorgeous. So out of this 510 yards, I have so far made 2 of these cows called the Pretty Thing, or Pretty Thing, and it's done, the pattern is by the Yarn Harlot. You can go on Ravelry and just look up Pretty Thing, and it's a lace cow. She actually designed it for something that you don't have a lot of yarn for, and you want to make something really pretty. So maybe you have a great skein of cashmere or yak or something like that. I thought I was doing a great thing by adding an extra repeat, thinking it needed it. I didn't realize that once I made it, it's actually rather large. So, but, I mean, it's really warm. It's really pretty, and it looks great, you know, if you have a nice outfit and you want to fancy it up. But when I made my mom's, I did follow the pattern directly and took one of the repeats out. And it's still a little baggy. I think it, you know, I didn't check my gauge. I don't do those kind of things. I just cast it on and just go and have fun. So hers is a little bit smaller, but still probably with this yarn, it could have used another pattern repeat if you wanted something that was more, you know, tied up around your neck like this. Really fun pattern to knit, and you can see the beautiful halo that comes with Angora. Out of this, it's really hot though. So of course it's pretty, but I need a really cold day here in Virginia to be able to wear it. Out of what's left, my son wants a pair of fingerless gloves just because he absolutely adores Ollie. And I don't know how much he'll wear them in public, but maybe on a cold day, you know, in his car before his car's gotten warmed up, he just wants something made of Ollie because he adores Ollie like everybody in my family, and he wants something knit from him. Okay, just for you fact lovers out there, I had to get my book out. If you don't have this book, I highly recommend you get it. Sometimes Amazon is the cheapest place, but you can also go on other websites when they have 40% off sales. You can get, it has pretty much every fiber you could ever think, including sheep. So I just went on the page, and CVM is California Variegated Mutant, which is what I thought, but I thought, wow, I don't want to say it and be wrong. It is some people consider it a color strain of the Romneydale, but other people consider it a breed on its own. And just so you know, the micron count of it is between 21 and 25. Where Angora, they do say in this book that the staple length, depending on, you know, the breeding and the husbandry, like the person who's taking care of it, their fiber is between 1.5 and 2 3/4 inches long, which is pretty right for Ollie, because that's probably about 2 inches is usually about as long as I let him get. But it says from small custom suppliers, you can get 2.5 to 6 inches long, which I do have friends who do sell their Angora fiber, and they do let their Angoras get that long before they clip them down. And it also says that their fiber is between 5.5 to 20 microns, but it usually ranges from 8 to 15 microns. So, yeah, by mixing the CVM, I probably made it a little less soft, but I made it a lot more bouncy and also made it a lot less hot. So if you are going to mix wool with your Angora, it's great. Go ahead and do that. But I recommend you do it with a finer wool, just because you don't want to take something that's a long staple and mix it with a short staple, because it's going to make it really hard to spin. I did quite a few years ago, I took a class with Judith McKenzie, and she did say, you know, if you have a long staple and you want it to match the staple that the other fibers you're mixing in, cut it. Nobody said that there's a police out there that says that you can't cut it. So if you have a long staple length of wool like this, and you want it to match your Angora that's like this, cut it and throw it all in the drum carder or hand cart it together and spin it. Nobody says you can't, and we did it in our class and it worked great. So that's pretty much everything I have to say, other than if you've never had a bunny in your life, I would say that I don't think that anybody who's having a bad day could look at a bunny and not make them happy, because Ollie brings so much joy. He's a spoiled brat. Yes, he sometimes is bad. Like, he'll try to chew my baseboards if he wants attention from me and I'm ignoring him. It's just like any toddler who's going to misbehave because you're not paying attention to them. So he is just like having a toddler. And so sometimes it can be a pain, but he adds so much joy to all of our lives, and he's so sweet. Even, you know, because yeah, he may be chewing or misbehaving, but he's doing it because he wants me, because he loves me. I think the only thing I probably regret, but I can't really say for sure because I haven't done it, is I see people with two rabbits and I see that they really like the companionship. I just thought as a first time owner that I was not going to be able to handle having two at one time. So I didn't do it. And Ollie he's going to be 3 in March, and I never got another Angora to go with him. So I don't know if it would be too late to introduce him. I know there are some people that do and it works out great, and then other people who don't and it just turns into a nightmare. And I think it would just make me even more heartbroken. So if I have to be Ollie's companionship, which means that I have to spend at least a good hour and a half a day giving him attention, I'm very fortunate that I can work at home. He has a bed underneath my desk. He gets head rubs from my feet all day long and a couple bunny breaks. So it works out really well. But if you do have to work full time and your bunny's alone a lot, I would recommend that you get two together just for the companionship, because I feel like Ollie's a needy bunny. He needs attention, and when I come home and I haven't been home for a while, he's jumping all around me, doing figure eights in between my legs because he just wants me. So sometimes I regret not getting two for that, but then other times when it's a lot of upkeep to have a bunny in your house. You have to do a lot of vacuuming, and he is potty trained, so that makes it a lot easier. But is his hair and the dust that it creates, or dander, you really have to do a lot of dusting and vacuuming to have a bunny, and so that's not always fun. But other than that, they're great. We have lap time every night. We have a lot of, they thrive on, structure. And he, like right now, it's his nap time, and he's not going to bother me in my craft room because he's napping and he doesn't want anything to do with anybody right now. So those are the kinds of things that's kind of neat, and you get to know your rabbit. They have huge personalities, and everyone that I've met, they do something funny that might be different than anybody else's rabbit, but they all have one thing in common, and they're just such precious, lovable animals. And I think they make great pets. Don't know, as far as young children, because I have older children, but I would think you'd have to be really careful because they could get hurt very easily. And I've seen some nightmares. I've read about some nightmares online. It would just be heartbreaking. So other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about Ollie. If you have any questions or you're considering getting a rabbit, please just, leave a comment or, message me. I'd be more than happy to help you. And I'm not an expert by any means. I can just tell you what has worked for me and the things that I know as far as Ollie goes. I've had some people in my spinning guild ask me, what, I'm interested in getting a rabbit, and I just tell them what I think. And you can also read up on it online. There's lots of places online where you can read up on it. Just know that if you're going to get one, they do require a lot of grooming and maintenance and care and attention. So it's not a pet that you can just leave in a cage and ignore, because I've seen some like that and they get very matted, and it's heartbreaking to see that on an innocent animal. So if you have any questions or you want to ask me about anything else that I've said on this video, please message me, leave a comment, let me know if there's any other videos that you would be interested in me doing. If there's something else that you see that you'd like to know about, just leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear it. Or if you're spinning Angora, the best way you like to spin it, I'd like to hear that too. So thanks a lot, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.